to the world's first emissions tax that is going after gassy cattle. Denmark is set to impose the world's first emissions tax on livestock beginning in 2030, targeting greenhouse gases emitted by the country's cows, pigs and sheep. But what exactly is their plan? Well, farmers would pay about $43 per metric ton of carbon dioxide equivalent produced by their livestock. That rate would increase to about $108 in 2035. The levies would be partially offset by a 60% tax deduction, rendering them closer to $17 per metric ton in 2030 and $43 in 2035, as per the Danish government. They unveiled this proposed bill this week. But why is this plan crucial for the Danish government? It's because officials project that the tax would cut the country's emissions by about 1.8 million metric tons, that's about 2 million tons, of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2030. By the way, according to the MIT Climate Portal, humans actually emitted more than 40 billion tons of carbon dioxide in 2022. Livestock is responsible for about 32% of human-caused methane emissions, according to the United Nations. The 1.5 billion cattle around the world are the cause of most livestock-borne methane. This is what the organization has confirmed, although Denmark had less than 0.1% of them, according to the 2022 figures that were compiled by iWorld in data. Proceeds from Denmark's proposed tax will be returned to the industry to support its green transition. This is what the government says, with the handling of proceeds to be revisited in 2032. The bill also includes the establishment of more than 6 lakh acres of new forest areas, among other initiatives. And the tax is aimed at slashing emissions of methane that the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says must be reduced by 40 to 50% by 2030 in order to cap global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius this century. The deal between the centre-right government and representatives of groups including farmers, the industry and unions was actually reached after farmers across Europe for months have been protesting cuts to subsidies and new regulations, some of them designed to reduce climate-changing emissions. But the proposal was hailed by the Danish government as a way to meet its domestic climate target of lowering greenhouse gas emissions by 70% from 1990 levels by 2030. A similar bill to Denmark's was actually under consideration by the previous centre-left government of New Zealand, where the agricultural sector is responsible for half of its emissions, largely caused by methane emitted from livestock when they burp. But that plan was axed. It was axed this month by the country's new centre-right government, partly because of pushback from cattle farmers.